Aria the Scarlet Ammo! This is a show that I actually started watching before starting my Crunchyroll quest, as a few of these earlier episodes are going to be. Now, I should say this, in the last episode, or rather the first episode, I said this was going to be the next show that I reviewed, and I'm keeping that promise. However, I'm going to order the reviews by the show's title alphabetically, just like how I'm going to be going through this on Crunchyroll. Season 1 will be in order of release date, but from here on forward, the next video in the all-encompassing playlist is going to be in alphabet. So what's Aria the Scarlet Ammo about? And you might be wondering if it has anything to do with the opening, and in fact, it does. Aria the Scarlet Ammo is a show about Kinji and Aria become what's called a butte at their high school. A butte, I mean, it's like a police officer, but I mean, they're it's kind of like the training of the FBI, but without the detective stuff, and they get to carry guns, and they have bulletproof school uniforms. They really don't do a good job of explaining it in the show. They just give you the gist of what you need to know, but it's not really information that will or even needs to stick with you after watching the show. But they do get guns, and boy, are there a lot of guns in this show. The main characters, as I said before, are named Kinji and Aria. Kinji is the main character, though. He's the one that the show seems to follow more than it does Aria, which is weird because the show is named after her. It's a whole thing. So Kinji is just a guy trying to live a normal life, although he does have this kind of alter ego that comes out whenever he's in an incredibly stressed situation. This alter ego just takes over, he doesn't remember anything, and he's just kind of in the moment whenever this happens. This alter ego Kinji comes out a few times in the show, but honestly, the show could really be done without him. I feel as though Kinji's kind of a weird character because he's more or less two characters, with the other half of him not being explained real well enough, or even having enough impact in the show to really make that much of a difference. Sure, he's there when he and Aria meet, he's there when the situation calls for it, but all in all, alter ego Kinji doesn't really matter. Maybe he comes in the sister series, Aria the Scarlet Ammo AA, but I can't get into alter ego Kinji. Kinji is trying to break away from his alter ego self, however. In fact, he consistently tries to live what he considers to be a normal life. But when he comes into contact with a bomb that's been placed on his bike when he's trying to get to school, he realizes that this is not going to be the case. As when this happens, he runs into Aria, the named character of the show. The show isn't super about her, but she is a main character, which makes all the difference. Aria is probably my least favorite kind of anime character, that being a tsundere. This is going to be the first time, at least in order of when I record these episodes, that I talk about things that annoy me in anime. Tsunderes. If you don't know what a tsundere is, basically, it is a likely female character who is hopelessly in love, or at least has feelings for one of the main characters, and hides it by being incredibly annoying. It's like they're trying to play hard to get, except the character they like doesn't like them back, or at least doesn't show interest, so it doesn't make any sense. Also, these characters will get extremely irritated and mad about things that they think the character they like does, and they will punish that character, even though it's most likely a misunderstanding, which, let me tell you, that happens an unfortunate amount of times. Any amount is over 0 is unfortunate. but it happens more than it really should in the show. And the worst part is, it's often done for comedy, but it just comes off as awkward because the scenes are usually drawn out too much. But there has to be more to Aria than just her feelings for Kenji, even if she doesn't like him. Aria is actually a fairly complex character. She's a descendant of Sherlock Holmes and knows a few languages. She's also a prodigy in pretty much anything and everything that she does. She's really kind of a James Bond-like figure. She keeps her cool whenever she's in an action scene, and well, most of the time she will. However, her age and lack of maturity definitely shows in less action-oriented and more character development-driven scenes throughout the show. There's also some villains that show up in the show, but most of them seem to be one-off. And honestly, I really kind of forgot about them after I finished watching the show. There's this really great episode. It's episode 3 of season 1, in which it's a lot like the film Speed. Now, I haven't seen the film Speed, but I really like the episode. I always love car chase scenes in movies, the high-paced action, or the high-speed action, and it's always well-paced whenever it does. And this is something that I do have to give Aria the Scarlet Ammo points in. The action. The action is always great in this show, and I feel like I'm going to be saying that a lot with these action-oriented anime series. Now, for my final ranking. Are there cons to this show? Most definitely. Do the pros make up? Kinda? There's a lot of annoying things in the show, but they're really just like little things. It's kind of just a feeling of pins and needles whenever you think of what's annoying. Like, yeah, pins and needles are annoying, but they'll eventually go away. But there's also a lot of good things in this show. As annoying as the characters can sometimes be, I do actually like that they are well developed, at least later on in the series. The show's action I've already given high praise, but would I recommend the show? Honestly, yeah. I'm also excited to watch the show's sister series, Aria the Scarlet Ammo AA, and from what I have seen so far, the show focuses a little more on Aria. So, I've got high hopes for this series that I'm about to watch. So, my final rating for Aria the Scarlet Ammo is 4 out of 5. Yeah, it's not perfect, but there's enough good things in the show that I would still recommend watching the whole thing.